Damn, I haven't felt like this in years. Hi guys, it's me, the Archfiend, back again. So, there's this new wrestling company called AEW. I decided to give them a chance. Watch their couple of pay-per-views they made this summer. Going into Double or Nothing, I was just like, I don't know. It's going to be a startup company. There's a guy behind them that has billions of dollars, like a lot of billions of dollars compared to Vince McMahon. And I'm going to try not to piss on WWE too much in this video, but I apologize in advance if I do, because I want to just like forget they even exist, honestly. But going into Double or Nothing, I was just like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. And I was impressed. Wasn't floored. Wasn't like, this is instantly better than anything that Vince McMahon has ever made. Like, it was nothing like that. But I was like, there's a twinkle of promise there. There's a twinkle of promise there. And skipping through the summer into their TNT deal here with their Wednesday Night Dynamite, which I was like, at first I was like, oh, that's kind of an awful name. But that aside, give it a chance, Archfiend. Give it a chance. And I did. And I watched week 1 last week of AEW Dynamite, and I was like, oh my God. In a very subdued Joey Styles voice, I was like, oh my God. Because babies sleep in this house. Well, just 1. 2 if you count my wife as a baby. But anyway, I was actually now looking forward to see the next week of programming for a wrestling television show. And I haven't thought like that in years, which goes back to the beginning of this video saying I haven't felt this way in years. Years! The kid's at daycare. That's why I'm yelling now. So don't be like, well, you said you had to do the subdued Joey Styles voice now. Anyway. This show is incredible. Now, I myself am a lapsed WWE, WWF fan. I mean, it goes that. I'll show you. I'll call these the shelves of memories. Like, oh my God, the Classic 5 of 1998. Hello! Mick Foley getting thrown off the top of the Hell in the Cell. Hello! And just all sorts of other VHS tapes I still have, other DVDs. But anyway, that represents the time in my life where I was so entertained, such a mark, if you will. And a lot of people get offended when they get called a mark of something, because it's like, well, you're a stupid guy that doesn't know what he's watching and you're just convinced it's good because you're dumb. But I take it more as you can't be a mark of something unless you completely and thoroughly enjoy what you are taking part in. In those days, when I was watching the Attitude Era, when I was going into chat rooms at the turn of the century, arguing with people over some dumb hicks that are supporting WCW Nitro, and going into internet wars with them, yeah, I was a mark. I was a front lines of the Attitude Era WWF Raw. I was the top general or something like that. That's what you get in your head. But anyways, that's like the type of attitude I had back then. Like, I was that entertained, pleased with what the company is doing. And I'm starting to feel that again. Now, it's only been 2 weeks of television programming, but what pushed me out of the WWE and has nothing to do with the performers themselves. I mean, anyone that wants to have gainful employment there, have at it. I'm not going to piss on any of them. But there's a certain old-ass man on the top where the buck stops, where that used to be a good thing, but now you really don't know what you're doing much of anymore. You force-feed people that aren't ready to get force-fed upon us. You stick with logic that makes you look completely stupid, and any number of other things. And it is clear in the company up north that things aren't going to change. And if you don't like the direction, your opinion doesn't matter as a fan. if you boo the shit out of Seth Rollins when he's booked as a face in a match in the main event? Vince is still going to push Seth Rollins on you WWE fans. And again, if you want to be a fan of that product, fine. If you want to be a fan of NXT, fine. Again, I'm not pissing on anyone that's working for the company or anyone that wants to be a fan of whatever they want to. I'm just explaining why I don't want to be. And again, I said, I'm trying not to piss on WWE. I'm not going to go into the whole Saudi Arabia thing with them and how, we're gonna book a main event of women in WrestleMania, but we're also gonna take hundreds of millions of dollars to book shows in a country where it is literally illegal for our women wrestlers to participate in. But we're giving them the main event of WrestleMania. We're pro women. Hey, that hundreds of millions over there, over my shoulder. Shh, don't worry. The women can't have any part in that. Shh. Main event of WrestleMania. Oh, hello. Focus on that. Anyways, ethics decisions and whatnot, and why I don't like this company anymore. But with AEW now, and why I feel the need to make a video about this is I just want to be one of the many voices early on that got on this AEW train, watching wrestlers that honestly I'd never heard of before. A lot of guys I'd never heard of before. Last night, some group named Private Party beat the Young Bucks. I'm very familiar with the Young Bucks. I've seen their work in Japan. I've seen their work in the Indies and any number of things. That's the thing. Just because I wasn't following WWE doesn't mean I wasn't following with the news of things. I still watched All Japan and stuff like that. A group named Private Party just beat the Young Bucks last night, and I was just like, oh my God. Again, in that subdued Joey Styles voice, because the baby and the wife were asleep upstairs. I was like, oh my God. Like, this shows, and I think this speaks much more in volumes than just the shocker of, wow, the underdog of this match won, in that the Young Bucks are one of the few known names in this company. Private Party, I'd never heard of before. A lot of you out there that watch AEW probably have never heard of them before. And that's the thing. It's no disrespect to them, or I'm sure they might be somewhat popular. I know I said, I follow things behind the scenes, but the Private Party must have been well behind the scenes because I haven't heard an ounce of them anymore. But again, that's no knock on them and more of a compliment to the direction of the company that AEW is going, because I was just stuck in the mindset of, well, we know what's going to happen in this match. It's just going to be a close match. The Young Bucks are going to make Private Party look good. And, oh darn, they just lost. The Young Bucks win, advance in the tag title tournament, because obviously the most esteemed tag team in the company is going to be the first to win the tag titles, because that's what this tournament is to decide. It's like now the Young Bucks can't even win the tag titles. But this is the thing, that the Young Bucks are humble enough to accept that they're going to job clean to these guys, and that this company is going to say, we're going to subvert expectations. Because who thought Private Party was winning that match last night? And that's the thing, I think they honestly didn't tell, because a lot of the other tag teams that were in the tournament were sitting around the outside. And I noticed after the match, they showed the guys on camera and the other tag teams in the tournament. And one of them was Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin's clapping, and he just has this look like, holy shit, I can't believe they won. Like no one knew it was coming, even the wrestlers. And I honestly think that was what their genuine reaction of what they were trying to go for there. But again, this speaks volumes that just because you're a known name or one of the known names in this company doesn't mean you're going to be handed wins. Like, you're going to have an up-and-coming tag team like Private Party job you out, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I mean, they were still in that mix-up. The Young Bucks were still in that mix-up at the main event after the match ended and whatnot. And, everyone's like, oh, no, Young Bucks are buried. Like, there wasn't that feeling at all. It was just like, okay, they're back in the mix of things. They're back in the main storyline. There's no harm done. And now it puts that much more attention on the young and up-and-coming guys that the attention should be put on. If this was WWE, you would not see that happening. You would not see that happening. It would be a 5-minute squash match featuring just a bunch of Young Bucks high spots. Anyway, not to piss on WWE again, but I am just so happy and pleased with what this company is doing. And I'm intrigued because one of my favorite wrestlers on the indie scene was Orange Cassidy. If you want to see a match, Google, just go up in the search bar and search Kylie Rae versus Orange Cassidy. Okay? It's a girl versus a guy, which a lot of times you see a match like that, it's just like, oh boy, I don't know. What are we going to do here? You're going to show a guy hitting a girl and stuff like that. But anyways, go watch that match. That match is effing incredible. Incredible. And by the way, is Kylie Rae in AEW? She was in Double or Nothing in that women's match. Like, I haven't seen her since. But anyways, just throwing that out there. I'd love to see, like, if they threw it on AEW Dark, if they threw like a match between Orange Cassidy and Kylie Rae, something like that, because if you're not familiar with Orange Cassidy, it is a style of match that is very unique and different. But that aside, this guy is a really good wrestler. Like, really good. All right. Be curious to see how it would translate against some more formidable foes, some more polished wrestlers. Because again, his style of a comedy match is something that starts out very slow. It seems very monotonous, and then it builds up to a crescendo of just he's going full tilt with his wrestling moves and slams and punches, etc., etc. So I'm intrigued to see what they are going to do with Orange Cassidy, because right now his longest on-screen appearance was that vicious kick fest that he gave to Tommy Dreamer at Double or Nothing, which I haven't seen Tommy Dreamer since. He probably hasn't been able to walk since that night. But anyway, I'd be curious to see what they're going to do with guys like that. But here's the thing is AEW seems to be letting guys do what they want to do. Bring some creative flavor to the table. Where you saw a guy coming down on the ramp with a skateboard last night, and that was one of the things that ended the show. Like, if this was WWE, they'd be like, no, we can't have you get on a skateboard. Instead, let's have you take a little red wagon out and then, like, grab things around the ring, and then you're going to use them in a match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's so much better. Let's go with that. Anyway, AEW seems to be letting guys have a voice, give their own flavor to things, and as we saw last night, take the mic and just talk without a script. Because there's no way Chris Jericho had a script. He may have been given plot points of like who to put over in a certain order with his little inner circle click, but when Jake Hagar he's getting his point to where he's getting talked up by Jericho, and the crowd starts chanting, "We the people," and Jericho says, "That is a dead and buried gimmick done by people, some idiots and poor creative, and that's a dead issue now." And the crowd just pops, and it's a way of just smacking WWE creative in the face. Because that's the thing, WWE creative, they dictate what you're going to say beyond on the mic. I mean, they might have given a few people like CM Punk a little latitude to speak, but then, where is he now? Anyway, or maybe they gave that to Jericho too. What is Jericho doing with his career now, by the way? It's so amazing that there's two things that I'd like to point to that led to basically the existence of AEW. Number one was the firing of Cody Rhodes in WWE some years ago. He kept grinding on the indie scene, just having, great matches. And there's like, wow, man, Cody Rhodes has still got it. And he was one of the biggest pieces to get this AEW machine going, along with Chris Jericho, who basically, and has said numerous times, one of the main reasons he left WWE was excuse me, the poor booking and placement of his match at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens when he was doing that whole list gimmick thing, being the second match on the night. Like, as hot as that angle was, you're given the second match of the night at WrestleMania. Anyways, and a lot of fans at the time when that card was announced were upset with that too. But again, your opinions don't matter in WWE. So, and to be fair, there's a few minor things to criticize with AEW because some of the production, like the specific shots for things, are like missing pivotal moments in matches. Like last night, Hangman Page does like a moonsault to the outside, and the camera doesn't cut over till it's halfway through the shot. Before that, Sammy Guevara is doing some. Dustin Runnels is in the Rhodes, excuse me. Dustin Rhodes is put up in the corner on the top turnbuckle, and Sammy Guevara is running up to do a big jump kick, and the camera cuts away to Jericho on the outside of the ring. It's like you just totally blew Sammy Guevara's big offensive move, and then you did it again later on in that match. But things like that can be polished up and fixed when the production crew just gets more familiar with what they're doing. I also, this isn't, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a criticism or a compliment, but they seem very dependent on showing crowd reactions, which is great because it makes, I think what they're trying to do is to psych up the crowd in that look passionate. Like when there's a near fall, go, oh! And like go like that because you never know when you're going to be on camera. Because the camera seems to always be cutting away. Anytime there's a big move or a holy shit moment or a close pin, etc., they cut away, and they go to the crowd. That could potentially be kind of annoying, especially if they get people, like there's a near pinfall and someone just like, ooh. Like that's the reaction they get instead of the, oh! Like that could be a potential issue. But anyways, we'll see. Because right now, the crowds that they've had so far in Washington, D.C. and Boston were lit. Just absolutely lit. Yes, I said L-I-T in an Archfiend video. I'm sorry, I'm talking too long. My throat's drying out. Excuse my phone for interrupting here. It just feels like it's a good time. It just feels like there's another renaissance in wrestling right now. And it's great to feel to be a part of it. And I really need a drink of water, guys. And I don't have one down here. Sorry. And I just want to help spread the word. Like if you've been down on wrestling and you haven't given AEW a chance, give it a watch. Give it a watch. What could it hurt? It takes 2 hours out of your life. Give it an hour. If 2 hours is too much. It's on Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock, TNT. And I even tweeted this out. I'll leave you with this. Again, as much of a WWF mark that I was in the Attitude Era, I was that much against WCW. And it's not that there wasn't entertaining stuff in WCW, because I liked watching Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, guys like that in WCW. But one thing that I consistently always hated, that never liked, just wanted me just cover up my ears every time, was Tony Schiavone. I thought he was the absolute worst broadcaster in the business. And I thought it spoke volumes that they keep putting this guy behind the mic on every pay-per-view, every Nitro. And I hated it. But now that he's one of the 3 commentators on AEW, I think he's fine. And I don't know if it's just like I hate WWE that much that it's making me in my mind say like, yeah, now all of a sudden this guy is good. I don't know, whatever. Maybe either that's the case or he's actually gotten better at his job, or I think it may have to do more with like he is, it's a third, and a third, it seems, as far as the commentators go. And in fact, I put even Schiavone even less than a third as far as their contributions live on air between the 3 commentators. But anyway, all right, hey, Tony Schiavone, hey, thumbs up. The guy that I never gave a half a thumb to before. What is a half a thumb? That doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, yeah, I felt inspired enough to actually take some minutes out of my day and turn on my phone and shoot a video here for you guys. Like, damn, that's how much of AEW has had an impact on me. Like, damn. Anyways, And no, I don't watch NXT, and I can't watch anything that has to do with WWE. I don't like them from an ethical standpoint. And don't worry, if AEW starts booking shows in Saudi Arabia too, I will come down on them with the same criticism. Okay, so this doesn't. If AEW starts making the same mistakes that WWE does, then they deserve to fall in the same daggers that WWE does. But it's interesting to see, even with the ratings. Don't know what the ratings this week, but the ratings last week, they had almost half as many people that watched Raw that watch AEW. This is a company that's existed just a couple months versus a company that's existed generations. Like, think about that. Like, they've already made up that much ground. Like, God forbid they get really hot and people start jumping over to AEW. Woo! Woo! Because I'll tell you what, if you have fun and you can get competitive pay and you're able to dangle the carrot of creative free reign, doors open for you. That's a nice offer. And right now you can't get that in WWE. You can't. You're not going to be able to get that till Vince is dead. Like, honestly, I mean, is he going to retire from the company? I doubt it. But something to think about. And I really think this is going to be, and again, I'm not saying that this is, they're going to put WWE out of business. WWE is so fiscally ahead of the ball and has so much good talent. And they could flip the script and honestly start giving guys creative free reign. You know, they could make a liar out of me and Vince could still be alive and it happens. Who knows? But I think it's a great time to be a wrestling fan again. It's a great time. And I can't wait to see more of this company. I got nothing left to say. I need a drink of water. My throat is going to just jump out of my body and kill itself. That is all.